How's it going, everybody? It's your buddy Spiny here with another ramble. I had a couple lined up that I was thinking maybe I'll do this one next. Maybe I'll do this one next. I'm going to do like a really self indulgent one here and just brag about something I got to be part of. I don't know. I mean, is it bragging or is it informing? Like, you guys got to check out Spiny Norman's appearance in Shrek 2 Retold. So, I actually have technically two appearances in the film. One is for the quite literally less than a second sequence I got for part of the movie. I got to shoot and edit my scene, and also in my scene is Tony, who has a pretty prominent role in the Last Call episodes. He's been on a few videos for this channel. Matt, my good buddy Matt, who's a way more frequent guest here on Spiny. I do a lot with Matt. Xanderbrow, who anyone who's part of that Rich Alvarez fan base probably has heard of him at least. And finally, my sister. So I've got they're all my scene together, and it is this again. Like, I think it's 2 frames off of being of being a full second. I think my scene was like a 30 frames per second, and I'm missing. It's only 28 frames though. And I think I'm right about that. It's been so long since I've edited that 1 second of footage that I don't remember. But I actually, on my old channel, Movie Mackle, live streamed like a majority of the editing process because it took me hours to edit that 1 second because I wanted to do something. It was my 1 second in the film. I really wanted to nail it. But how did I become involved in this project? How did little old me get to be in this project that has all these big names in it? And why am I talking about this now instead of when the film's released? Well, when the film gets released, I'm actually going to release some behind the scenes footage I have of the 1 second because why not? Why not? It's a very rare opportunity for me. Why not do a little fun thing with that once that finally gets released? But two, I got to be involved. I became a big fan of 3GI, the guys who made the first Shrek Retold and did the Smash Bros. Live action tournaments. And I eventually signed up for their Patreon, and through that I was on their server for a bit, which no longer exists. But at the time it did, and there was someone talking about how they were going to do a Shrek 2 Retold themselves with the blessing of 3GI. So I just immediately said, "Hey, I'll do a scene. I'd love to." And I sent my work, and they let me on. And I originally had like a good, decent chunk of a scene in the movie because my scene was originally the scene with Shrek, Donkey, and Puss, and it's human Shrek and horse Donkey, uh, basically stealing that carriage, stealing the horse at least. No, stealing the clothing and no, they don't steal the carriage. They steal their clothes. They stop a carriage and steal their clothes. And I have this friend who, did these really great concept drawings, and we were storyboarding our scene out. It was gonna be live action, but we were really gonna go all out with it. And it just kept taking us forever to get started to coordinate. And eventually, I got an email because the 3GI crew actually became in charge of the project again. Not again. It was like they took control of it. Because I think at this point it was becoming something. These people who did not continue running the project, it wasn't working out. But I think that they got enough started there to where 3GI considered it. Grant, I should say, and there was a few other people involved in the project. I just don't know if they were involved day one. He took it over. He was gonna just do a scene for it initially, but he took over the project, and I guess it was like like the people who were running it originally, they didn't want to pull the plug fully on it. And Grant was just willing to make it. And then all these years later, it's, hopefully finally coming out this year. It was supposed to come out a year ago, almost a year ago. Matt actually got to see it maybe like a year ago, a year and a half ago when they showed it at a theater for Shrek Fest, but it was an incomplete version. And I'm still waiting to see the damn thing. I've been very patient, but I'm looking forward to it, even though I'm in it for literally 1 second. I'll talk about where Spiny shows up in a second here. Because I made my scene. I finished my scene before Spiny even existed, just to put a time, but really paint the timeline for you here. But Grant took over, and I got an email basically asking me how much of my scene was done, and if it wasn't done yet, if I could be put on if I would be okay with being on a wait list. And you know what? Gonna give a lot of credit where credit is due. They did not just up front say, "Hey, you're not doing your scene anymore." They wanted to see what I had done for it. If I had something done for it and it was good, which I'm gonna say, if we actually like knowing the people I was gonna work with, if we would have done it, it would have been good enough. I can say that with confidence. I had a good team. It would have been good enough, but we literally still didn't have a day set to film. So I was just like, I just told them, you know what, I have this concept art, but that's about all. That's about all that's done. So I said, if you want to put me on a wait list, I accept being put on a wait list. And they put me on the wait list, and then I got back on the project from being a patron of 3GI because they wanted their patrons to do shots for certain scenes. I think most of the patrons got brought on for the I Need a Hero sequence. And there was just this huge list of shots that I could pick from, although a lot of them were already taken. So I took this one. I wanted the shot where I could have characters in the shot because a lot of them were just set-in shots, like a drawbridge coming down or like a meteor being shot when the gingerbread man's gumballs are being shot. Like those were the shots, most of the shots that are available. I'm like, well, I want to have characters in my shot. I don't want to just do like a set-in shot because I think I'm going to get a lot more out of doing a character shot than anything else. I think that's going to be the best experience for me personally. And there was the shot of like 5 guards charging the gate, the door, like right as Shrek and Donkey, again, human Shrek and horse Donkey are about to enter. Like right before they do the jump over them, that's when my shot is going to show up. And I just said, okay, we're going to do the 5 knights, but the joke of our shot is going to be none of them are knights. It's all going to be like people wearing, like, it's going to be someone defending the castle, but none of them are knights. So I'm for me, I'm a redneck. I'm just like this angry redneck with a shotgun and a straw hat. Matt's a lumberjack, which is actually like a character on his channel, Badass Matt. Will actually, he's not wearing metal armor, but he actually does take on the medieval look. He has like this medieval costume, more of like a warrior costume, I guess, than specifically a knight, because there is no metal armor. But he has a sword and shield, you know. And then Tony and Melanie my sister essentially did the exact same thing, where they were just like cloaked figures. One of them had nunchucks, and the other, what the fuck did they both have nunchucks? I don't remember. But theirs was definitely the most thrown together. Like, okay, I need 2 other people. Hey, you guys want to be in my shot? Cool. Put this on. So a little less thought into those 2, but I'm happy to have them on board regardless. Me, Tony, and my sister, the 3 of us do have a strong love for the Shrek franchise, so I'm happy that we get to be in this movie. And my God, like, neither of those 2 look the same anymore. Like, they were still in like school, like grade school when we shot that, and now they're fucking adults. That's, again, this project has taken forever. Not throwing shade when I say that. I'm very impressed by that and by what they've done and what I've seen over the years. Grant is the one who took it over, but there's also Connor, Garfield, and Quentin Reviews are the 4 of them have been really involved in this project and getting it out there, and so much respect for all 4 of those people and what they've done for this project, and just kind of seeing what it's become. Obviously, it's not just them. It's so much respect to all the different artists too. But Grant really does have this way of putting together these collaborations. I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of work that's going into this, because Grant even said in a few updates that he's done recently where there's so many people who have the assumption of it's just putting all the clips together and that's it. Then you have the whole movie. No, it's really not, because they're not just redoing the shots. They're redoing the audio. They're redoing everything. The score is redone. The voice lines are redone. The each of the songs in the movie is redone. And everything has to be timed and resynced, and they will adjust shots. They will. I remember watching like a little behind the scenes thing he did when they remade the Sonic OVA, which I was invited to be on as a patron. I didn't do it, and I, to this day, deeply regret not doing anything for that, because that would have been awesome to be part of that, especially with the status of this channel now, with what I do online. That would have been a great thing to be part of. Had my chance, I missed it, so I didn't want to miss it when the opportunity to be in Shrek 2 Retold came out. But there's, yeah, he like would take these shots and find ways of combining them, like segueing them into each other. Two shots that were never meant to, it was made by two completely different people, and they didn't think their shots were going to be intertwined the way they were. But no, he does a lot of really good segues into different shots and a lot of good transitions, and it's just timing is everything. And just from the little bits of watching him edit on streams he's done, and for behind the scenes videos he's posted. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. The guy really does know what he's doing. And I think a lot of the people who just assume it should have been as easy as combining the clips together, they clearly don't. Because if that's all it was, just one shot after the other, nothing would have flowed. Nothing in the first Shrek Retold would have flowed, and nothing in the Sonic OVA would have flowed. But those are the details I don't think you would even notice unless you were watching an inferior version. If you were watching a version from someone who didn't take the time to give a shit about the editing process. So amazing work all around on this project, and give them even more props, because it did suck having my 40, I think it was like a 40-second scene replaced with a less than a second scene. That sucked. That blew. But one, if I actually had work done, they would have at least seen it. And again, I think if we did what we were gonna do, I'm not just like tooting my own horn here. I'm talking like I was working with people who are actually working in the industry today. Like it would have been good, and it would have been good because it was me working with people who really knew what they were doing. Not to sell myself too short. I think I know what I'm doing too, but like we had. The storyboards were good. The concept art that he drew was good. The plan we had was good. It was just, God, they're trying to figure, it's under new management now. It's back to the people who made the first one. They're trying to figure this out. I wanted to be honest, so I was like, yeah, we're nowhere close to finished with this. Put us on a wait list. And I'm sure whoever did that scene, I actually have not seen. I've seen a lot of clips from this movie from being on the server. I actually have not seen who did that scene, but I am looking forward to seeing it. But I have to also give them props for this. I keep getting away from this point. I was actually sent an email a second time about, hey, do you want a shot? You're on our wait list. Do you want a shot? So even if I wasn't a patron, they would have reached back out to me to do a shot for the movie still. So one way or the other, I would have made it in. And I appreciate that. I respect that. That was another thing I was honest about. I was like, hey, I already had a shot. And maybe I didn't need to be, because maybe they were hoping I was going to say no because they needed to, they were looking for people to get these shots done. But nope, I didn't take an extra shot, and now we get another great artist on the project. So hey, there we go. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it all play out. And from what I have seen of it so far, it's going to be an amazing film when it finally comes out. And I think a lot of people are really going to like it. And you're going to get to watch me, Matt, and Will for 1 second. Spiny's in there too, because I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to say stuff that I'm not supposed to say. But there is a group shot near the end of the film where I submitted Spiny as a character to represent myself. And I saw a screenshot from someone who attended the premiere of the film when they showed the unfinished version. And in that screenshot, I could see Spiny clear as day. So Spiny himself, the character for this channel, is in it. He's in there as well. It'll be very hard to see. You'll have to pause the screen and look for him in a crowd, but Spiny is in fact in the movie as well as live action me. And I think that's neat. It's so cool to be part of a project that so many people I'm a fan of are involved with. You got Zach Hadel of Smilin' Friends fame doing a voice, and his scene, there's Senior Palo doing an animation for it. Your Movie Sucks, YMS has a scene for it. There's just a ton of people that I have been a fan of over the years who have a role in this movie, have a position in this movie, and I'm really, Really looking forward to seeing everything that I have seen already kind of come together, fully put together, and seeing everything that honest to God, there's plenty of this movie that's still a mystery to me. Because a lot of scenes got posted on the server, a lot of them. I don't think all of them did, though. And, uh, and I wasn't cut. Matt confirmed from going to the premiere that our second is in there. He said it felt quicker than... It felt even quicker than a second, is what he told me. But you know what? We're in the I Need a Hero sequence, and that's the best sequence we could have possibly been put into. So I'm thrilled about that. Like I said, when the movie actually comes out, I'm gonna do like an actual video about it. Show some of my behind the scenes footage from all those years ago, and kind of just make a joke out of it, kind of make a light out of it. And I'm looking, yeah, it should be fun. It should be a fun thing to. I think it should be coming out this year. From updates I've been seeing, it's very close. And that's it. It's very close. The final touches are being made, and you should expect to see it soon. There's no release date yet, because the release date is whenever the fuck they finish it, is what they said. So, yeah. I've been interested in making my own remake collab one day. Either being part of another one or actually trying to start one. And if I started one, it'd be like something really small scale. Like I as a big Rich Alvarez fan, a big Stupid Mario Bros. Fan, even have that 3.5 hour long documentary on this channel about that. I thought it'd be really neat to get a couple fans together and just do a shot, like not shot by shot, but scene by scene remake of the first episode. And I'd pick the first episode. Even the thing is, the first episode is kind of an underwhelming episode of the show. So there's part of me like, well, maybe I should pick a different one. But another part of me is just like, it's just kind of a fun. It'd be a really easy thing to coordinate, because it's a short, 3 to 4 minute long episode. There's not too much going on in it. It's appropriate. It's fitting because it's the first one. And it could almost be like a proof of concept. And if it goes well and it's a good experience for everyone involved, and Richie himself sees it and likes it, it might be worth it then we could do a second one that'd be a more ambitious one with pick an episode of a longer runtime, pick one that stands out a bit more. And my pick for that would be I'm going into Stupid Mario Bros. Territory now, but my pick for that would be like the 3-parter episode 22 that was uploaded in 3 parts and kind of is like a feature-length episode of the show. Not only are there a lot of characters in that one from the series, and not only was it a time before like cast members started dropping from the show, but it's also just a really charming one. There's the For the Longest Time song at the end of it. You got Wario and Waluigi shenanigans, them trying to stop the band. You have Link playing a prominent role. Like you have Ash there. It's like a part of it's a part of the time in the show where before like some of the biggest characters were dropping like flies, Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one to do now. It has Scott Masterson. There's another thing. So that would kind of be the goal, to see if I can handle 4 minutes for a remake collab. And if I can, move on to a bigger one. Because even then, it'd be going from 5 minutes to 22 minutes. And it's like, I'm not trying to remake a movie here. I see a lot of these these big collab projects come out for films. And it's like, I admire what they're doing. And a lot of the times, they actually do succeed. The SpongeBob movie got a fan remake, and they succeeded. They got the whole thing out. It was fun. It was very charming. I like that one a lot. I'd recommend that one as well as Shrek Retold. But I do think you see a lot of them come out where it's like, it's cool that you have this level of ambition. It's cool that you want to do this, but maybe you should start smaller. Because I swear some of these big remake collabs are coming out like there's like children trying to run some of them. And I understand that, because when I was 14 online, I think I'm absolutely the type of person who would have tried to do that after watching Shrek Retold. 100%, I would have attempted and failed to do it. And I think that's just something to keep in mind when you see one that you want to be part of. Like, really look into it, really look into the people making it. Don't, don't, if you think that it's not, if you look into it, it's like you're not impressed by it, don't insult the people making it. Don't go that far. But I do think it's worth considering if it's like, if you like, put a lot of your hard work into a scene for a movie that's never going to see the light of day, that could be really disheartening. So I'd always say, like, look into a project first. I'm not going to name drop any here for this part because I don't. Again, I even the ones that I don't think are going to work out personally, I'd still like to be proven wrong. I'd still like to see them come out. But I have seen some where I see like they make it as far as a trailer, and it's like every single shot in that trailer is someone trying to do the shitpost entry. Every single shot in that trailer is someone who didn't put a lot of work into their scene on purpose. And the thing is, when you have these big remake collabs, sometimes that is funny. I do see that. You do see that in Shrek Retold. You do see that in the Sonic OVA remake, where there's some that have, like, some shots that have, like, show an exceptional level of skill and time and effort. And then you have shots where people are just kind of goofing off. But I do have to say, not only do I think a lot of the goofing off scenes in both of those two movies I mentioned still, like, even though it was definitely being done by someone who knew less of what they were doing, they were still having fun with it. They were still committing to it. Like, a lot of the people who did, like, really cheap live action scenes, they still did go ahead and paint their entire body green, They did still, like, go through, like, take that extra mile, and I don't think that's anything to be looked down at all. I mean, my entry, I put hours upon hours of work into it, despite it only being a second, and mine definitely falls under shitpost territory. But I'm talking about a shitpost where the person who made their scene literally put 10 to 20 minutes, if even, into their shot, where it's like, I think you can get away with some of those, but I don't think you can have a remake collaboration where every single entry is that, and then maybe every once in a while you get like one or two really good shots. Because I think in that sense, you're actually like letting down the two people who put in a lot of work into those two shots. I think you need to do some sort of quality check, and it's not even like a quality check to say like only put the best of artists. I think that the fact that 3GI and other people do let artists of like different qualities or different ages come onto their projects and try something out, I think that's great, and I think that adds a lot to the charm of these series. I don't think everything needs to be masterpiece level, but I think it's cool that some of the shots do end up hitting that masterpiece level. But I think it still needs to be coming from a place of like real heart. I think it can't just be laziness, because I think that's what a lot of people who get involved in these projects, what their mindset is. They want to be the funny shitpost entry. They want their foot in the door to be part of the project, but they don't really want to put the time into it. And it's understandable. It's like it's free work. No one working on Shrek 2 Retold's getting paid to do it. At least, no, I don't think anyone was. But I think that I think that it is really worth it for the whole project to make sure you're getting people involved that like actually want to be involved in it, and not just someone who wants their 2 seconds of attention in a project where everybody else is giving it their all. Because that's again, that's the thing I'm noticing, is there is a lot of like people who go in and they really want to do the bare minimum. And were there people in the first Shrek Retold where it felt like they were doing the bare minimum? Yes, but they were still funny. There was still a joke. There was still a joke other than laziness to every single one of them. There's literally a shot in that movie during like the dragon chase scene where a guy is running around a pole with his two dogs in his like basement. I think there's even a sign in the basement that says man cave. So in his man cave. But there is something about the way that he delivered it, where they were able to have all these really intense shots of the score they remade, and then they can just cut to him and cut the music and cut everything entirely and let that shot play out. And because of that, it worked. Like, it was like comedic genius. It's hilarious. It's like one of the easiest shots in that movie to make, I am sure, but it contributed so much to the overall project. But the only reason a shot like that can work is because of all of the other shots that followed before it. Because if that shot was followed by like 10 other shots that were the exact same joke of we're just not going to care, we're just going to half-ass it and send them a bunch of bullshit. If you have 10 of those play in a row, it's not going to be funny. It's not going to land at all. And it's just going to be like, the people at home watching are just going to be like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching something that clearly no one cared about? And that's where it's going to be sad, because in every single one of these projects I'm thinking of in my head that I'm kindly not naming, every single one of them I've seen people who definitely care. I've seen people who genuinely are giving it their all. So yeah, I guess that's, that's why it's a ramble. That's why it's all over the place, is because I guess, what am I saying? I'm saying if you're going to be part of one of these projects, make sure it's one that deserves you. Make sure it's one that people are actually interested. Make sure it's one that's being run by someone that you're convinced will actually release the damn thing. And make sure it's one where make sure it's one where it's like the quality, like the passion is clearly there. Because even with Shrek 2 Retold, when at first Grant wasn't the one leading the project, and it wasn't an official 3GI project, I did see that passion. I did see that fun. That all existed even when I was on board for a different scene, even when I was on board to do something different than what the final product was. It was still there. So even if like I shot that scene and worked on that project and it didn't go anywhere, I don't think I would have been that disappointed, because I think I would have still enjoyed doing it. And then I would have just posted my scene to my channel and said, ooh, deleted scene from the never before released Shrek 2 Retold. Because when I started working on it, it was clear from the very get-go that there were people who wanted this to be awesome and wanted it to be great. And I am glad that Grant took it back over. It felt like, maybe it was just a little too much for a first project for the people who were originally running it, but nothing but respect for those original showrunners, because they really got this ball rolling. Who's to say this would have ever happened without what they started? Grant definitely did not seem like he was interested in doing a Shrek 2 Retold initially, and this really got that ball rolling. So, again, nothing but respect. You guys got me on the project in the first place. So, appreciate ya. But yeah, just either make sure you're going to have fun doing it either way, or make sure you're convinced it's a project that's actually going to come out. That'd be my advice if you want to be on one of these. I think I kind of lucked out. This is the first remake collab I'm going to be part of. I hope it's not the last. But it's the first remake collab I'm going to be involved with, and I think it's going to be a pretty major one, and I'm very honored to have it be my first one. But I'd love to do more. I'd love to throw myself out there and get onto other ones. But that is something I'm always going to be looking out for. Anyway, this one was kind of all over the place, but I guess that's what these rambles are for. I know I've been doing some shorter ones, but yeah, like I said, I think as long as they make it past 20 minutes, it's a fine ramble. If I have one that goes on for an hour, that's cool too, but we gotta be okay with a 30-minute or less ramble here and there, or for a majority of them. I don't know. I still don't understand what the show is gonna be. I wanted to all week. I just wanted to record one about how sad I am. How fucking sad I am, and I was like, well, that's not going to be a good show. No one wants to listen to that. I need to think of something fun. What's fun? What is fun? I don't know. I've forgotten what fun is. And then I thought about Shrek 2 Retold. I'm like, oh, that's something that I'll make. That's something that makes me happy. Let's talk about that. So there you go.